for a lot of non-minority women, they may look at the fact that they're raising a little girl. But for me, I looked at the fact that I'm raising a girl who's one day going to be a Black woman. And I told my husband one day, I said, I think I have found that I have been adultifying our daughter. Like, I have been making her an adult quicker than I believe that she should. I have been viewing her as, like, instead of this innocent, sweet baby, I'm like, I'm trying to get her ready for the world. Right? And it's called the adultification of Black girls, right? Where we adultify our children because we're trying to prepare them for this bigger world that is going to eat them up. So
you're going through all this walk of life of marriage. It's just you and Michael for a while.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years together, just y'all dealing with each other and learning each other, learning how to coexist and all of that. What was it like the first time you figured out, like, oh shit, I might be pregnant?
What was that day? I think I went to the gym and I was just like, I felt different. And I went home and I took a pregnancy test. And it's so funny because we're always so shocked to find out we're pregnant. Like, we didn't know what we did to get there. Mm-hmm. So I'm up there like shocked, like shell.
AKA also, it's like, hey, we be getting it in. We having a good time. We don't even know what we're doing.
Like, how did we get here? How did this happen? And it's so funny. Funny story. The day before I took a pregnancy test, my family was in DC, and I went to go visit my friend Tiffany, and her baby girl was like 3 years old, and she put her brother's onesie in my suitcase. So my family was out of town, and Michael was joking with them, and he raised up the onesie like, surprise, we're pregnant. And my family was like, oh my God, da, 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 da. And we were just laughing. And then we were just like, we're just joking, guys. We're not pregnant. So they were so upset with us. Like, why would you joke like that? And I'm like, Michael always play these crazy games because my husband just loves to joke. And the next day, I literally took a test, found out I was pregnant, and recalled my family like the day after. And they're like, we're not playing games with you guys. Like, are you guys bored? And I'm like, no, like, I'm really pregnant. We just found out. We were joking with you guys, but now we're like serious. And I was so butthurt because my family was like, girl, bye. Like, we'll call you back. We're at dinner. And I was mad at him, like, you ruined this experience for me because you like to joke, and now my family doesn't believe me. But here we are. So yeah, it was crazy. It was beautiful.
All right. So what kind of pregnant woman are you? How would you describe yourself?
Oh, I do not like being pregnant. Like, being pregnant with artists was hard. I had her early. I had her 2 months early. I had her at 30 weeks. I was in New Orleans visiting my family. Michael was in California, and quickly I developed preeclampsia. So preeclampsia is a blood pressure disease amongst pregnant women, and I developed preeclampsia, and I went to New Orleans on a Tuesday, and by Friday, I was in the ER with swollen feet, and I had so much of fluids, and we called, the doctor called Michael, like, you need to get down here. We need to induce Ashley, and she's going to have this baby like today. And,
oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, I had an emergency C-section, and 2 months Artist was here, and we stayed in the hospital for 60 days. She was in the NICU for 60 days. And, but she is 4 years old. She's healthy. There are no signs of prematurity in her. She has always been a healthy child, thank God, because, she could have faced all type of undeveloped issues coming early, but we always just said, man, she knew she was supposed to be here during the time she was supposed to be here, because she's just always progressed and flourished. So
And how are you and Michael growing as parents together? I mean, this is not the normal feat that you're dealing with when you're bringing a child into this
Oh,
world.
no.
So how are y'all experiencing each other, and how are y'all working together? This seems like another test in your marriage.
Yes, definitely. It grows you in your marriage. Michael as a dad is everything I feel like I knew he was going to be as a father. But not as soft as I thought he was going to be, like this soft, like, oh baby, just he is like really, really like a disciplinarian. Like he's like, no, Artist, what did I say? And he has a firm believer, like, I love my daughter. We're going to have fun. He keeps every promise to her. Like he's the fun parent, but he's like, we're going to raise a respectful child. We're going to raise a child who is grateful. He's country. He's this, yes, ma'am, no sir type of person. Like he's that type of dad. And I appreciate that because he really hold a standard with her as a little girl. And, he's not like just his dad who's like, daddy's little girl, she gets away with the world. Nah, he's like, he corrects her. And he fathers her, and I appreciate seeing that. And me as a mom,
yeah, because I was gonna ask, how was it like holding Artist in your hands for the first time? What was that like?
For the first year of life, I'm like, this is my child. Like, what do I do with this baby? Like this child. And to be honest with you, because she was born early and she was in a NICU for the first 60 days of her life, I didn't feel like I bonded with her for the first year of her life. For the first 2 years, I was going through crazy postpartum. I experienced PTSD from my birthing her and having that emergency C-section. And yeah, Michael really, really during that first 2 years of her life stepped up and was like this, he really had these maternal and paternal instincts that I did not possess. Like he just knew what to do, and he was just always so present with her. And I feel that for the first year of her life, I was struggling. I was checked out. I was depressed. I was sad. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't know if I even wanted to be a mom. I was struggling with some real things that women face during their postpartum. And I'm so happy that I had the type of partner that I did who was able to step in, and he never judged me. He was just like, listen, Ashley, like, I love you, and whatever you're going through, like, do what you need to do for you. Artist is good. She's going to be good. And he did that. And I'm just like, man, God, like that lottery in life with this man, like I won that, because not only is he, not only is he a good man, he's a good father. And that matters when you're looking at who you're going to marry. And I knew when I was dating him and we got married, I was like, man, I know he's going to be a good father one day, but he has been that father to her. And I appreciate that. And he has had that modeled. He's had a good father in his life. So he's just modeling what he has had. And I appreciate that.
Okay, so now that you've gone through this the postpartum, these difficult struggles, what was the turning point where it's like, wow, I'm actually enjoying the life of motherhood and experiencing your daughter? What are the things you're even learning about her?
Yeah.
What kind of special gifts does she have?
Yes.
Like, and was she also kind of taking after you, or was she taking after Michael?
She's a good balance of both of us. Like she definitely, everyone says she looked like her dad, and I definitely see that. She looks like her dad. And she is a balance between both of us. She is very strong-willed. So when you're raising a mini you, right? Because a lot of, I'm strong-willed. I know what she wants. I know what I want, and she knows what she wants. But what I love about my child is that she knows how she want to be treated, right? Like she's very clear. Like, mommy, like, hey, you screamed at me. That hurt my feelings. And I'm like, oh, like that scared me. That made me sad. Please don't scream at me. Or she asked me for something the other day and I kind of tossed it. And she was like, hey, mommy, please don't throw nothing at me. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I picked it back up and I gave it to her. And she was like, thank you. Thank you, mommy. Good job. So I see that she has this authority, and I also see that she's very, like, she has this tenderness about her. Like she's very aware, and she's very like, mommy, are you okay today? How are you, mommy? Or she has this awareness, and I try to be as vulnerable in front of her as possible. Like I don't hide my bad days from her. And not that I'm like, I don't allow her to carry my problems, right? She's a child, but I also want her to see that mommy cries, mommy gets sad, mommy have hard days. And I talk to her about that. She's 4, but she sees, and she has this spiritual compass that I feel like, man, God, she's aware. She has this awareness, and I love that about her.
That is amazing. So when you're kind of observing her, she's in your space. What are the things that you feel like she has special talents or special gifts in?
She's definitely a leader. She's a leader. I'm starting to see the gift of encouragement. She loves to encourage people. She loves to talk. Well, I mean, she's Michael and Ashley's child, so she's going to talk. She's going to talk. We named her artist, right? So for us, we felt that she was going to be a courageous one. She was going to be an atmosphere changer. She's definitely an atmosphere changer. Everywhere she go, everybody was like, hey, artist. And she's like, hey. She talks to everyone. She is so super, super intuitive. Like, she asks all the right questions. I'm like, where did you even get that from? Like, but it's right. Like, she'll ask questions a lot. But in terms of like talents, we have not starting to see that yet. I'm sure within the next 2 to 3 years we're going to see that. But yeah, she's a good girl. I like her. I like my child.
So you've now experienced parenthood, and you've also been raised by your mom.
Yes.
As a child, you experienced your mom a certain way.
Yes.
Are there any kind of habits that you kind of picked up from your mom when you were a kid, and now that you're also passing down to artist?
Yes. What would that be? I would say that my mom, she always graced me to be who I am, right? Whatever I was feeling, whatever big emotions I had, she just never was afraid of that. You know, how some parents would be like, oh my God, like, don't say that, or you're not supposed to feel that way, or whatever the case may be. My mom always welcomed however I felt and allowed me to express those feelings to her, good, bad, or indifferent, right? And it never bothered her. And I try to do that with my child. Like, hey, like, it's okay. What are you feeling? What are you upset about? Like, tell me what's wrong. Because I always want to leave room for her to just be able to tell me what's wrong or what she's processing through. And I get that from my mom. She, like, to this day, she's one of my best friends. I never feel judged. I always feel that I can go to her about what I'm feeling, good, bad, or indifferent, and I want my daughter to experience that. So that's definitely a quality that I picked up from my mom. She has always just been just open to receiving me as I am. And I try to receive my daughter as she is, and not put my shame on her, or, don't want her to be this way because of what the world would think or say. Like, girl, be who you are and come to me as you are and be as big and bright as you are. And the world would adjust. It would adjust.
That's what's up. I mean, now, of course, you and Michael have been going on this journey together. You're dealing with this journey of life, being a woman in America, a Black woman at that.
Yes.
You have a daughter. You have a family. You see the battles that Black people are dealing with on the daily.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of positive news out there for us.
Right.
So when it comes to obtaining information, when it comes to learning how to grow, what kind of space are you in, and who do you surround yourself with?
Oh, man. One, I surround myself around honest, strong women, Black women. I can even say that, but women who are allowing me to share my truths, whether that's my truth about my experience in work, my truth about my experience as a wife, my truth about my experience in motherhood, without judgment. And I think it's important for everyone to have those people, right? Those people where you can be like, you know what? Like, I called my friend Tori the other day and I was like, I'm calling you because I know I can be extremely honest about what I'm about to say. And I know you're not going to judge me. And she was like, go, say it. Don't clean it up. Like, say exactly how you feel. And I said what I felt, and it felt so good just to say it because that's what I was feeling in the moment. And those are the type of people I need in my community who loves Ashley to life, and who allows me to be in the fullness of who I am, all of me, right? I think we all need that. And I'm grateful that I have been able to get that in my life and in my community of people.
When it comes to the state of our culture,
right?
What worries do you have when it comes to your daughter?
What worries do I have? Well, one, I think that as a mother and as a mom, I think my job first and foremost is to protect her. And I have not always done a great job in the way I have parented her, because for a lot of non-minority women, they may look at the fact that they're raising a little girl. But for me, I looked at the fact that I'm raising a girl who's one day going to be a Black woman. And I told my husband one day, I said, I think I have found that I have been adultifying our daughter. Like, I have been making her an adult quicker than I believe that she should. I have been viewing her as, like, instead of this innocent, sweet baby, I'm like, nah, I'm trying to get her ready for the world. Right? And it's called the adultification of Black girls, right? Where we adultify our children because we're trying to prepare them for this bigger world that is going to eat them up. And I have been a part of that problem. I have not given her any space to just be a child.
Well, let's speak on that issue there,
right.
The adultification of young Black children.
Right.
So when it comes to that, how do you feel like that's a problem? Do you feel like that's a bad thing? Okay.
I think in our community, we have these different standards and expectations for children who are just children, right? She's been in this world for 4 years. She's not going to know how to sit down. She's not going to know not to talk back. She's not going to know not to have big feelings because she's a child, right? And I think that we assume that children are supposed to know what to do, and it's like they're kids. And when she's around little girls who don't look like her, we have play dates all the time with little girls who don't look like her, I realized that they are much more, you could tell that there's an innocence in a babyish, they're more babied than what she is. And she's more mature than what they are. And I realize it's because of the expectations that I may have or society may have put on her. There's no room for little Black girls and little Black boys just to be kids. We're calling them bad. We're telling them what they're not supposed to do. We're trying to teach them. And it's like they're kids. Give them room and space just to be a kid, right? And I think that I accept that I have been a part of that problem.
So what do you speak to the other side of other parents just letting their kids do whatever they want? Maybe not that too concerned, but they do have the freedom now. They're letting them be kids.
Right.
And just anything coming their way and taking all that in.
Right. And I don't even think it's about allowing your kid to do whatever they want, because I don't let artists do whatever she want. I'm thinking it's about giving them space, giving her space just to be a child. Just to enjoy being a child, just to go out and frolicking in the grass outside and not being concerned about her getting dirty. You know what I'm saying? Or not being so concerned about, the way she's showing up in school when she's 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, there's some things that I just had to release as a mom. And I realized I had this strong thing. Like, I remember one of the first arguments we had, Michael and I had, about parenthood. I'm like, listen, don't correct me on correcting her, because I'm raising a Black woman. And I'm like, wow, Ashley, she's 3. I'm thinking about her future. I'm thinking about her going into the room and people not thinking she's too emotional, or her knowing how to articulate what she needs to say without crying. And I'm like, she's 3 years old. You're going to have time to do that. And it does not start at 3.
Well, what if your daughter's more fly than you?
She is. She's gonna listen. I want her to be better than me in every area, in every which way, forever. Like, that's why I named her
I've
Artist.
still yet to meet any jealous parents. I just want to know if there are any jealous parents out there.
Hey, there's a lot of parents who, but listen, that's why I named her Artist. Like, I want her to be different all through. Like, when she walk in the room, they're gonna know, even now, when I registered her for school the first year, the teacher said, I didn't know if I was expecting a boy or a girl. And I was like, That's why I did it. I don't want you to know what you're getting. You just know that an artist is coming through the door, and she's just going to surprise you every time.